Remember all the fun and joy of your favorite game or childhood toy. If only you could feel that way again. Well, you don't have to go back in time, 'cause Nick and friends can help you find long lost treasures you once loved. Let's go hunting nostalgia.
If you're gonna build a time machine, you might as well do it in style. I'm Nick Bartley, and this is Hunting Nostalgia. And that used to be Toys R Us. What happens now when you bring up your camera phone, your computer phone, and you start flipping through searching toy stores? What comes up? They're not toy stores. Sure, you'll get the big box stores, but what happens when you go to those stores? Nothing. Nothing to see, there is nothing to buy. You walk down bare aisle after bare aisle after bare aisle. There is supposed to be retro toys there, you know, all the toys from our generation, the best generation. But there's few and far between to even choose from. The selection is absolutely awful. But thankfully, there is a saving grace. There is a complete comprehensive database, and it is called the Toy Store Guide. And the toystoreguide.com is your one-stop shop to find all of the vintage toy stores, real, actual toy stores across the country. You have got to check it out. You never know. There might be one a mile from your house right now. It's still open. Go! You know? But anyways, the Toy Store Guide, you gotta check it out. In this episode, we use that from coast to coast. We are traveling and finding those items, those nostalgic items. Toy store to toy store to toy store. How cool is that? All right, it's time to do it. Let's go. Yeah! D&E Collectibles in Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania. The very first time that I walked through this door, I walked inside about, I would say today is their 10-year anniversary. So I'd say about 10 years ago, I walked inside of this door, and spread out all over the ground was a vintage Star Wars collection, okay? The owners here didn't know me at the time. Trust me, they know me. They know me now. So I walk into this store, and it's all, you know, very intricately laid out. All the weapons, all right next to their figures. And I walk up and take a little peek, and I get greeted with a very strong voice. Startled me a bit. He goes, "Hey, yo, dude, step away from the counter, dude." I was like, oh my, where am I at? But it was Bobby, one of the owners of D&E Collectibles. He is a great guy. Let's go. I have already talked too much. What do you say? D&E Collectibles in Sharpsburg. Yeah. One of my favorite things about D&E and other really good collectible toy stores in Pittsburgh is that their shelves, their racks, everything is always jam-packed with figures. You don't have to worry, like whenever you go to those toy stores that you can find when you search on Google, you know, and they tell you places like Target, not a toy store, Five Below, not a toy store. This, D&E Collectibles, this is a toy store. You cannot get another item on the pegs at this store. It is jam-packed, and that's what I love. And I also love the fact, right here, we have Legos. I have never, ever been smart enough to play with Legos. I will tell you that right now. That's why I go with the big rubber, you know, unarticulating LJN wrestlers. But my children, they absolutely love Legos. And if there is a hard to find Lego that your kids are begging you for, Dad, please, I need the Spaceman Lego, and you don't want to spend $100 to buy the big Spaceman set, guess what? Here at D&E, you can get those hard to find figures. Now, I know that these are newer items, but how cool is that? If you ever happen to run into me at a vintage toy store, 90% of the time you're gonna find me at the digging bins. You know, like toy shows, I love the digging bins underneath the tables. I always say, you got any bins underneath the tables that I can scavenge around in like a rat? Well, I do the same thing at vintage toy stores. And here at D&E, they have a humongous, it's like a 5x5 bin.
Is that Nick Bartley, host of TV's Hunting Nostalgia?
Imagine that. So, as I was saying, they have a humongous bin here. And my favorite thing to do with digging bins is I love to get all the way to the bottom. This is a warning now. I am telling you, sometimes at the bottom of these bins, it is pretty rank. It's a pretty nasty place, but it's also the place that you're gonna find that 1983 Lando Calrissian skiff guard helmet. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you can find those extra pieces, because a lot of times if toys come in to vintage toy stores like this one, the items that aren't complete or maybe that aren't quite as nice or damaged, they end up here. And I'm telling you, there is awesome stuff in here. Just from glancing at the very top of this bin, we have a Kevin Costner Robin Hood. This was the line that Kenner decided after Return of the Jedi wasn't as popular flying off the store shelves anymore. Boom, this is what they repurposed to do with that line. The Robin Hood line, which I always loved. Oh, here, perfect example. Here is one of the original runs of Magneto from the Toy Biz X-Men. You could tell Professor X could very easily read his mind. No helmet. Where's his helmet? Possibly at the bottom of a digging bin. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, 1995, Jack's Bone Cruncher. He is actually in really, really good shape. You can clean him up and he can be put in a display. That's what I love about this place. Oh my gosh, so many. Oh, look at, this one. This one's coming with me. Now, whenever I was a kid, I didn't know what his name was, but this is Underwater Wolverine. You know, I don't remember Wolverine swimming a whole bunch, but when he did, this was the suit that he would wear. My cousin and I would call this Waterveen. We were so creative. But digging bins, that's one of my favorite things here. I am going to explore the cases here because they are jam-packed with amazing vintage toys at great prices as well. That's another thing. If you have collections, bring them down to D&E. This is a place to sell them. This is a great place to sell them. One of the reasons why we have to keep these vintage toy stores around is because right here, I have hundreds of carded G.I. Joes. And right across the aisle here, I have Dick Tracy toys. Or I have Street Shark toys. I have Cops toys. You know what I mean? There's such a variety. There is absolutely something here for everybody. But just so happens, this is my favorite booth. Now, the items in here, there's a lot of Wrestlers, as you can see, LJN Wrestlers, but the coolest thing, the most intriguing thing to me, because of the fact that we're here in the Berg, you know, they have the Berg things. Wrestling things. For instance, just here, there are 2 programs from the since demolished Civic Arena. That is something you cannot find somewhere else. You could probably find it on internet shopping, I'm not sure, but you can walk into this building. You could walk over to this booth and you can pull out the Greg the Hammer Valentine program from, I would assume, 1984, or the Hulkster, along with a couple other, I can't see the rest of them, but they're on a sled, you know? Those items, they're Berg items. You can find them here. And that is just absolutely awesome. So thanks to the Toy Store Guy and our searching the United States of America. Elvira, she's doing the same thing. She is at an absolutely amazing place. You got to see this place. I'm not even gonna nick it up at all. Elvira, take it away.
I'm Elvira Taylor with the Doll Circle, and today's my moment of nostalgia. We are at Livingston, New Jersey, and we're at Hidden Treasures, Collectibles and Antiques. I'm excited to see what we're gonna find, maybe some Barbie stuff, so let's head in there. All right, so I already see some Barbie stuff right when we're walking in, and oh my gosh, okay. So, little history moment. Yes, they make a ton of Barbie cars over the years, especially a Barbie Corvette, very iconic in pink, but I didn't have those growing up. I had the knockoff one, and this is by Say Toys Inc. And honestly, this is giving me so many little moments and memories right now. It's missing the windshields, you know, maybe Barbie got into a little accident, but this is the knockoff version, and this is what I actually had growing up. And I've been looking for it for a long time. This might come home with me. I don't know how I'm gonna fit it in the suitcase, but we will try. But yeah, I mean, you can tell the quality difference isn't there, but you know, it's worth for all the memories. All right, so one thing about this store, there's a little bit of something for everyone. I mean, everything from chess pieces to baseball cards to, look at this treasure troll doll. Again, so many memories. I think we have matching hair right now. And then also the one thing that really stuck out to me, I still have this in my mom's closet at her house. Not as good of condition, but Teddy Ruxpin, honestly, like I just want to go put a tape in him and just have him read me a story right now. And as you're walking around, make sure to always look up because there is a lot of stuff everywhere, literally. I mean, from Barbies to Disney to, look at this Millennium Falcon over here, is insane. Like, it's so big. I want it hanging in my house. All right, so not only am I into Barbies, of course I love horror movies, and they have so much horror stuff. I mean, Scream is my favorite franchise, and there's a little Scream figure in there. They have the Crow Living Dead doll. He's very adorable. All right, so this has to be Nick's section over here. We have all of these awesome wrestling belts. Like, I think this is so cool. I've actually never held one or touched one in person, and they're letting me pick one up. So I'm gonna hold it up. I need to get a picture of this later. This is for Nick, hey. Be jealous, I'm holding up the championship belts. Well, one of the belts at least. I just think this is so cool, and they're a lot lighter than I thought they would be. That's really interesting. So this whole case is full of 80s and 90s Barbies, and as we are familiar, I love that era of Barbie, and I actually have had most of these, which is crazy to think of all the hundreds of Barbies that are out. I actually have her, and she still works at home. Surprisingly, the batteries have not died in 30 years. Go figure, right? And it's just so cool to see all of this stuff mixed in with the action figures and the Marvel and the wrestling. I mean, even if we just hop over to this side, there's more. I'm thinking about Nick a lot, evidently, today, because look at all this wrestling stuff over here. I mean, we have everything from like Macho Man to the classic 80s, 90s wrestlers. So this is probably my favorite aisle in the store. All right, so there's some boxes of Barbies over here. I'm ready to deep dive in and see what we can find. Like right on the top, I see this Barbie from 1993. Obviously, it's the 35th anniversary. Barbie's a little older now. She's in her 60s, still looking good. But I love this one though, because it really makes me think of my mom, because she had the original 1959 Barbie. So to see this, I'm just like, it may not be the exact same one, but at least it gives me that happy memory of thinking of my mom. And then deep diving into here, we've got Harley Barbies. They actually made quite a few Harley Davidson Barbies. I think they probably have, I want to say 8 to 10 different variations that they made. So it seems like they have a lot of 90s Barbies. We have everything from the Navy and then Avon. Avon had tons of exclusive dolls, especially I would say early 90s. And this one's more of like a holiday themed one. I just love her hair. Something about the 80s and 90s Barbies, when you look at them, you really can tell the time with the blue eyeshadow and the big bangs and the big poofy hair. I really miss that in Barbies nowadays. So always feeling like the 80s and 90s are always the best. I mean, I still love the 2000s, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. And we also have, oh, Barbies from around the world and different cultures. They got some really good stuff in this box. I mean, that's one thing about this store, we're always getting in something different. So I'm gonna have to come back here when I visit my friends in New Jersey to see what new dolls they have. All right, so you never know what you're gonna find. I'm looking down this aisle and I'm using my peripherals because I see everything from Star Wars, which I'm gonna have to see if they have any Han Solo stuff. And they have so many cool other TV shows from like, oh my gosh, like my mind is getting blown. Like Dick Tracy was one of my favorite movies growing up. And they actually have Breathless Mahoney's mini doll, and something that I've never seen before, ever, I don't even think I've seen it online, is the large doll versions. This is amazing. I love her blue dress. Like, honestly, this is just such a good feeling to see this because I've never seen it in person. I did have these growing up, but I've never seen that. So you literally never know what you're gonna find in this store. So I hope you enjoyed my moment of nostalgia. I had so much fun walking around Hidden Treasures here in Livingston, New Jersey. If I could take everything home in my suitcase, I would. So until next time, back to you, Nick.
Let's go hunting nostalgia.
Fantastic job, Elvira. Hidden Treasures looks amazing. I love those kind of stores. You know, different vendors, different style of stuff. Emporiums are the absolute greatest. Anybody remember that cereal, Hidden Treasures? It was one of my favorites. Anyways, before we get back to the show, I want to take a minute and I want to talk about the incredible people at the Nacelle Company. You know, the company that does toys better than anybody on the planet. They have created something that is just so intriguing. I cannot even explain to you how much fun it is other than this. Do you remember ever seeing somebody walking through the airport and they have that suitcase and you can't help but stare at it because it says London, it says I Heart NY, on the back it says Brazil. Do you know what I mean? That is that person's personal history attached to their suitcase. How cool is that? Well, the people at the Nacelle Company have come up with the idea of the passport to the toy stores of the world. Now, there are millions and millions of must-see destinations across the entire planet. You know, you got a bratwurst in Germany, passport stamped, that's very good. Or you have that delicious croissant from France, pow, they stamped the passport. And then who could possibly resist getting your sink unclogged by "It's a me, Marty"? You know what I mean? You get the point. That's what this is. You can take this all across the country and get it stamped from the different vintage toy stores. It is incredible. It's your own personal history. It's your past of your toy stores. Oh, I've been there, got that stamp. Oh, I haven't been to this store yet, but I must go. This is your passport to the toy stores of the world. And the best part is that they gave us, this toy sniffing weirdo, yes, me, they gave us our own stamp, Hunting Nostalgia stamp. So if you ever see me strolling around a toy show underneath the table, digging into bins, boom, ask me, I will be happy to stamp your passport to the toy stores. How cool is that? All right, let's get moving. We are off to Denver, Colorado. Stevie, take it away.
Here today in Denver, Colorado at 5280s, which I have to say is a totally awesome shop.
Thank
Edie,
you.
can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so here at 5280s, we are basically a totally awesome shop. That says it all.
That's fair.
But pretty much all of the pop culture, nostalgia, everything that you can think of from that time
It hits all the
period.
right notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you guys actually open?
So we have been here, it'll be 9 years in October, so going
Okay.
on 9 years. So we, when we opened, I don't even think we thought we'd still be doing this 9 years later, but.
I mean, I guess it's driven by the people, driven by the nostalgic feeling that they get when they walk in here. To give you an idea, it's essentially like an 80s museum, mostly with these installations, but the best part is you can actually purchase some of the items.
Yes,
And you said
everything is for sale.
everything's for sale, including the cans that items are held in for display sometimes,
yes.
which was a cool story. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. I was telling you we had a lady come in, and we actually had a can that had some things that we were selling in it, and she was just saw it and was crying, and so of course she asked if the can was for sale, and it wasn't, because it was holding some stuff for us, you know, and it was a cool can, just to, you know, be fair. But anyways, I hear her on the phone talking to her sister, and she's crying, and she's saying, oh, do you remember Mama used to keep her buttons in this can, you know? And so of course at that point we had to give it to her. You know, we didn't charge her for it. It was her memory, and we were just happy that she found it, and it meant a lot to her.
It's really about those feelings. Like, that's what this place, that's what people come here for.
Yes,
and no matter what you're into, you're going to find it. You said something that really rung true. You said people forget what they forget, essentially. But then walking around here, you're going to inevitably see something and go, I haven't even, like, this hasn't even entered my headspace in 25 years, and here it is, and I fully remember how it functions and how to work it and all that stuff. That's probably the most fun, because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's true, and that's one of the things that we love about what we do here. We tell people this is the closest thing that you can come to a time machine, you know, and so people come in and they forgot what they forgot about until they see it, you know, and then it instantly just takes them back to that memory, that time, that moment where maybe they were 6 years old sitting in their living room and life was simple, or maybe life wasn't simple, but they had this toy, you know, was something that they loved. Yeah, you know. Yes, and so that's what we actually love about what we do, is all the different stories and all the different nostalgia, because it just is different depending on people's memories. And but one of the things I do love is that nostalgia, regardless of your demographic, your, you know, race, your whatever, your gender. Nostalgia is something that we all kind of have in common. You know, that's something that we all can share in, you know, and so even though it might be different for different people, but it still can kind of bring us together. So,
right. Yeah, well said. Yeah, so if you feel like walking into one of your memories and interacting with it and potentially buying something, this would be the spot to do it. It's in Denver, Colorado. It's called 5280s, which is a totally awesome shop.
Yes.
And come say hello to Dee Dee and check the place out.
Yes, sounds great. Love to see you.
Back to you, Nick.
Man, Steven, you were not kidding. That place was totally rad. Denver, Colorado. See how easy it is to find these places using the Toy Store Guide? You never know. There could be a place, there could be a vintage gold mine miles from your house, and they could still be open. Go! But anyways, Elvira, you are the greatest. You look 10 billion times better than me each and every single episode. And to our friends at the Nacelle Company, I cannot express to you how appreciative we are of you involving us in the passport to the toy stores. Oh man, all right, where in the world is the toy machine gonna take us next? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'll see you there. Yeah. I told you that it was gonna be an absolute but
over, holding.
You know, I'm extremely excited to see where the good old toy machine takes us next. I can't speak, man. I'm losing my stupid tongue. One more time. And our friends at the Nacelle Company, thank you so much for including us in your incredible passport to the toy stores. I'm Nick Bartley, and this is Hunting Nostalgia. And that used to be a Kmart. I was more of a Hills man myself, but truly the place to be was Toys R Us.
Then why are we not in front of a Toys R Us, Nick?
Where are we supposed to find an abandoned Toys R Us?
Right over there in front of your stupid chubby face, you moron.
What a jerk!